Hi guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, we're going to be learning Malagueña. So I got to give big props to Evan for transposing this to the ukulele. So this is a staple in flamenco and classical guitar learning books. And I gotta say, he did a tremendous job getting the essence and the feel of this iconic piece onto the ukulele. So major round of applause for Evan. Now, as you've seen the performance, I have to say that it's actually a lot easier to play than it appears. So I would probably place this at the upper intermediate budding on advanced player, but it's a lot, trust me, it's a lot easier to do than it appears just by watching the performance. But with that said, there's two really big takeaways with this piece. The first one is that it's a great study for learning how to add feel into your playing. And the way that we're going to accomplish that is by incorporating rubato. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. And secondly, this is a great intro to that flamenco style. There's a few techniques that you do have to have under your belt to be able to perform this, but we're going to cover all of those, and I'm going to give you a couple links and stuff here to learn the techniques if they're new to you, but we'll jump into that in a second. So first, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this lesson. So we're going to learn how to play half of the song in this video, which is the part 1 lesson. If you want to watch the part 2 lesson, you can click this link or go to the site rockclass101.com and do a search for Malagueña. Now on that page, you'll be able to get the tabs that you can print off as a PDF format, as well as access the on-screen tab viewer. Now this is a really cool feature where you can hit play, watch the tab scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you wish. Just a really great asset in learning this song that much easier. All right, so with this tune, the first thing that we want to look at are the techniques that we have to have under our belt. So there's 3 techniques. The first one is the rasgueado strum. So sounds like that and looks like that. It's a 4-finger strum where each finger is quickly followed by the other in rapid succession. So you have pinky, third, second, index finger. So, and as you heard, it produces a big pop in the attack as opposed to just going a regular down strum. Now the second technique is picado, and picado is an alternate picking technique where you're going second, first, second, first. So for example, if I was to play just the A string, and I use one finger, look at how much work I have to do. If I use piccato, which is 2 fingers, middle, first, it's way more efficient and I can pick way faster. So that's piccato in a nutshell. Now, both of these techniques, we teach the mechanics behind executing the right hand attack in this lesson. It's called La Gitanita. And this is another flamenco tune that's actually a lot easier to play than Malagueña. So if you're new to this style of music, I would actually suggest starting with that one first and then coming back to Malagueña. Now the third technique is triplet picking, and that sounds a little bit like this, and I'll play a little excerpt of this tune. Okay, so this has, again, a specific right hand pattern that's going to be happening, plus you really need to understand the rhythm behind it. So triplet picking means that we're playing 8th note triplets. So check out this lesson that we just did. We did a monthly live lesson that was all about triplet picking. I'm also going to put in the description box below all of these links, plus I'm going to put a link that talks about an explanation of the rhythm behind 8th note triplets. So if you're new to that, then check that out as well. And we'll have a general overview of rhythms in the description box below. So there's another lesson that just gives you an intro to rhythms, because you really need to understand quarter notes, 8th notes, and 8th note triplets for this tune. Now, speaking of the rhythm, we need to look at the time signature we're playing out of, which is 3/4. So we have 3 beats per measure. Quarter note gets the beat, so 1, 2, 3, next measure, 1, 2, 3, next measure. So if we were to play along, a little bit of this sounds like 1, 2, 3, next measure, 1, 2, 3, next measure, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's the big grasp so far. We're not playing out of 4/4, we're playing out of 3/4. Okay, now let's go ahead and jump into learning the first part. We're going to start with just this little pickup measure. This pickup measure uses rasgueado. So as we work through this tune, all those techniques that I pointed out, I'm going to assume you know how to do, so check out those lessons if they're new to you. But here's this first pickup measure, and it sounds like this. And it's in free time, so you're going to do this to taste, whatever you want. You can... Well, let me play it, then we'll explain it. Okay, so we have 3 hits on the A major chord, just that stock A major chord, and it's going to use that rasgueado technique. And you can hear that I'm just kind of drawing out that chord, blum, blum, right? So there's no tempo that's exact. It's technically it's quarter notes, but you don't want to go 1, 2, 3, right? You want it to be spaced out, and it's kind of like a big, look at me, I'm starting a really, really awesome song. So that's kind of what I want you to think about. So you're going to play this to taste. You can hit it, and you can extend it for as long as you want between the 3 hits. So there's no right or wrong, so just hit it and let it linger for as long as you wish. So let's see if we can try it together. I'll try and nod us along. 1, 2, 3. Blum, 2, blum, 2, blum. That last one you can even hold longer as a fermata. And then you're going to go into theme 1. So let's break theme 1 into 2 parts. We're going to look at the first 14 bars, and then we'll look at the next, I think it's 24 bars. We'll see. But we'll start with the first 14, and let's take a look at just the first 4. It's going to sound like this. Okay, so first thing we hear, all 8th note rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... So rhythmically wise, very simple, but let's break it down even more. If we think about what's happening on beat 1, 2, and 3, we have bass movement. So we have... Okay, so we hear the bass. And if we think of what's happening on the ends of the beat, we have a pluck of strings 1 and 2. Okay, and if I add those together, that's what you get. So let's actually start with just the bass, and then we'll put the other ends into the mix. So if we start with the bass, the first chord we're playing out of for bars 1 and 2 is A major. So we're staying on that same chord. So I want you to play the 4th string, and then you're going to play the 3rd string, and then take your pinky and play the 4th fret of the 3rd string. So you have 2nd fret, 1st fret, 4th fret. And you're going to do that 2 times. So that's bar 1, 1, 2, 3. Bar 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay? After that, you're going to drop this chord shape straight down a string, and it becomes D minor. So ignoring string number 4 for right now. So for this bass movement, we're going to go 2nd fret, stretch with the pinky to 5, go back to 4 with the pinky. Okay, that's the 3rd measure. 2, 5, 4. Okay, after that, you're going to play the 2nd fret, then the open C, and then the 3rd fret of string 4. This whole time you notice that that index finger stayed anchored, and it stayed anchored for both chords. So watch as I play the bass movement. Watch the index finger. You can see that it stayed anchored on that 1st fret for both chords. So really important that you keep that in mind as you're playing this. So again, going to bar number 3, we had 2, 5, 4, and this was all out of D minor, right? Bar 4, lift up, 2, open, and then 3rd fret of string 4. Now one thing that may be a little bit challenging is this stretch, right? So if you're new to playing stretch phrases or stretch licks or stretch chords, then check out this lesson, which is all about increasing the left hand reach. It has 3 exercises that's going to help make stuff like this a lot more comfortable for you to do. So if we put that together, guys, we have A, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, D minor, 2, 5, 4, 2, open, 3rd. Right, keep it nice and even, all quarter notes for this. So let's see if we can try that together. As far as you're picking for your right hand, I want you to use the thumb for everything, okay? Just down with the thumb for everything. So let's give that a shot. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Now let's add the other part. Let's add the ends. So for this part, right hand speaking, go back and make that A chord. All you're going to do is take the 1st and the 2nd finger, or you can take 2nd and 3rd finger. It's up to you. So try both and pick the one that feels best to you. I'm going to use 2nd and 3rd. But you can see that after I play the bass note, all I'm going to do is pluck strings 1 and 2. That's it. So I go bass, pluck, bass, pluck, bass, pluck. So just take bar 1. So 1 and 2 and 3 and... Let's try it together. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and... Nice. Bar 2 is the same thing. Okay. Drop down to D minor. Keep that index finger anchored all while doing this. So you're going to play bass and then pluck 1 and 2 again. Okay, stretch to 5. And then down to 4. So that's that 3rd measure. So you have 2, pluck, 5, pluck, 4, pluck. Okay, let's try measure 3 by itself. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and... Okay, measure 4, lift up. Okay, so it was 2, pluck, open, pluck, 3rd fret of string 4, pluck. Okay, so measure 4 by itself. Ready, go. 2, pluck, open, pluck. Nice. So if we try 3, and 4. That one's a little bit harder. Let's try the D minor. 1, 2, 3, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Okay, if we try 1 through 4 together, so starting on A, 3, whoop, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Nice. So you're going to see this same pattern and movement a lot throughout this song. So now that you have it learned, when we see it in the variations that come up, for example, you're going to see it in the triplet picking, but it's the exact same stuff you're playing out of. So if you learn it once, you have it for each time it pops up, and it pops up a few times. Now, that's bars 1 through 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8 is going to be identical. So in reality, you're just going to play it twice. So if we put everything together so far, we have bars 1 through 8. So we plus that little pickup. Fermata. Okay, so I just played through 1 through 8, and you can hear something. I'm not going like a robot. I'm not going... The other one sounded a lot better than that, right? Why is that? Well, remember in the intro, we talked about one of the big takeaways of this tune was adding a little bit of feel and emotion to our playing. And one way we can do that is by using rubato. Rubato means we don't have to strictly adhere to the tempo. We don't have to play exactly to the metronome, to the click. We don't have to be like a robot. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and... Right? We don't have to be so perfect and precise in our timing. If you listen to Evan's performance, you hear that throughout all of it, is that if you try to tap along, he doesn't stay steady. And you're not supposed to stay steady with a song like this. It's supposed to be free-flowing. You know, when you talk to somebody, you have a conversation, it does not go like this, right? It's not perfectly in time and synchronized, right? So we want to be free-flowing with this piece. And let's talk about a couple ways that we can accomplish that. So when I play through, what I'm hearing is a bit of pulsing. So I may want to make this piece go slow and then jump in tempo. A little bit like this. Right, that's a bit exaggerated, but you can hear da 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 da. Right, you can hear starting slow and increasing, starting slow and increasing. Another thing that I like to do is to put a bit of retardando or a slowdown, and I like to do a big gradual slowdown. So I may pulse for the A chord and then retardando over the D minor chord, sounding a little bit like this. Right, so you hear ba da 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 ba da 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 da. So you can hear the pulse and then the gradual slow down decline, and it just gives a really, really cool sound. So with rubato, it's totally up to you to interpret it however you hear it. So this is just one suggestion, but there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. So I want you to take it, make it your own. Now, what you can do and what I suggest to do is to go back, listen to how Evan did it. You have my suggestion. Listen to what Evan did. And then just go on YouTube and type Malagueña Flamenco. There's a million guitar versions out there. You can listen to guitar players play, and you can steal ideas on how they're doing it. So just listen to as many examples as possible and just pull ideas from that. That's how you get your own sound. You learn from one person, another. You put it all in a bag, you mix it up, and then it comes out with your own ideas and your own style. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at measure number 9 now. So measure 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 9 and 10 are the same A. So identical. So let's jump to 11. 11 is going to D minor again. This time we're going to walk up with the bass. We're going to go 2, 4, 5. So 2, pluck, 4, pluck, 5, pluck. Okay? Going into measure number 12, it's going to sound like this. Okay? So let's do this. Let's take 11 and 12, just the bass movement. So 2, 4, 5. We know that for 11. For 12, we have 3, 5 on string 2. So you're going to use ring, pinky. And then I want you to drop down that index finger. And you're doing like a partial bar. And it's going to play the first fret of string 1. So keeping out of D minor, I'm going 2, 4, 5, 3, 5, 1. You can see that whole time I'm just keeping that middle finger anchored as well. Okay, and then I'm pivoting down at that first joint, doing a partial bar, almost as if it was like a G minor 7. And I'm going to play just that first string. So 2, pluck, 4, pluck, 5, pluck. At this point, use the ring, 3rd on string 2. You're going to play that note, lift up, pluck. So you're plucking 1 in the open. 5 with your pinky on string 2. Lift up, pluck 1 in the open. The last note, pivot down, 1st fret string 1 by itself. Okay? So you just want to take these 2 bars and you want to loop it. Okay, I can still keep going down, playing these notes with my thumb and then plucking. Thumb, pluck. Probably for the last one, I'll use my ring to grab it. So let's see if we can try 11 and 12. Here we go. 3. Whoop, I keep doing that. I keep thinking it's 4. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, if we backtrack, let's try 9 through 12. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and 3. Nice. Here's the last couple bars. So you're just going to walk down the A major. So 1, 2, 3, strum with a little raschiato. So you have 4, 3, 2, last measure, strum. Now you can always alter that. You can go strum, 3, 2, maybe a little harmonic. So it really doesn't matter as long as you highlight an A chord for that last part. But if we keep it like the little tablature, we have 4, 3, 2. Oops, tab has a strum. Take 2. 4, 3, 2, strum. Okay, so it's pretty easy. So let's do this. Let's just cycle through the first theme. So this is the first, remember we're splitting theme 1 in half. So the first 14 bars feels like a complete section to me. Okay, so let's just go ahead and play through it. I'm just going to go ahead and play through it. I'm going to add a little bit of that rubato just to give you a context of everything that we've covered thus far. So if I play through, I have this. Right, so that's a good example of being real loose in the timing. If you want, you can keep it more steady, you know, you don't have to have so much variation like that. But again, it's really up to you and how you want to play it. You know, there's really no right or wrong with something like this. So let's go ahead and take a look now at the next section, and I think it's 24 bars. Yes, it is. So it's a longer section, so we're going all the way up to measure 38. So we're kicking off on 15 right here. So if you remember, I talked about you're going to have the same first part that you're playing out of, but the technique changes. So, right, so that same first part, but our technique changes because now we're going to introduce triplet picking. But you already know what you're playing out of, so that's what makes this really easy to learn. Okay, so it's all the same shapes and same chords and everything, just a different right hand technique. So go ahead and make the A chord, and we're just going to do the little triplet picking. So we have bass followed by string 1, then string 2. That's literally all it is. So bass, string 1, string 2, bass, string 1, string 2, bass, string 1, string 2. Remember, eighth note triplets. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So an idea in terms of playing this, you could do the same fill as suggested for the first few bars. That pulsing, retardando, pulse. Maybe I would probably keep it steady as we keep going into this section. So for me, I think the first part when I demoed it was real loose with timing going up and down, but you can hear in that section, I started the first part that's identical, playing that A and the D minor stuff. I started with the pulse and the retardando, but as I went through the remainder of the bars that we're going to be learning for this theme 1, I kept it really steady with the tempo and the timing, right? So that would be my suggestion as you learn the next section with me, is to keep this part more steady. I think it sounds better steady. But again, it's up to you. You can play it however you wish. But that gives you a context of what we're about to learn. And as you can hear, it's actually really, really cool. Okay, so we're going to look at 15, 16, 17, and 18. So that is literally just using the triplet picking out of the same movement. Okay, so let's give that a shot. So A to D minor. 1, 2, 3. Triplet, triplet, triplet. D minor. Okay, looking at the next bars. So this is going to be 19 and 20. Just as we saw before, they're both going to be the same out of A. So 21, as you probably guessed, is going to be the same as before. So remember that bass movement walked up 2, 4, 5 on D minor. Okay, and actually there's one big difference here. In the first 4 bars, they were repeated for 5, 6, 7, and 8. This time around, we cut those. So only one time through, so no repeat. So that's the big difference. So we have the same little walk up with D minor, 2, 4, 5. Okay, and then as you guessed, 3, 5, 1. So it's the same movement. But instead of ending on 1, we're going to do this. So here's what this 21 and 22 sounds like. Okay, now this is actually the hardest part of the tune, I think, because of the right hand technique that has to happen. A lot of piccato technique is going to be occurring in the last bar. So the first one is pretty easy, 21. So that's just a continuation of what we've done, thumb, first, second, thumb, first, second, thumb, first, second, right? Now when you get to here, what you want to do with your thumb is you want to move it up to rest on string 4. So it's going to be in essence an anchor to help increase accuracy of piccato technique. So when you get to this last measure, 22, keep that index finger where it's at. We can actually lift the middle finger up for this one because this one's a little bit tricky to play. So you have 3, open, and then first. So after that, you have 5, open, first. So you can see we're still going first, second, right? But the bass is harder because the bass is technically on string 2 now. And so I don't want you guys to use the thumb. I don't think that's a very efficient way to play this. I want you to go second, first, second, and then keep alternating first, second, first. So just alternate picking. That's all the trick with piccato is. So 3, 0, 1, 5, 0, 1. At this point, I would probably take the middle finger and use that to grab the first fret. And then open, and then first fret of string 2. So 3, A, 1, 5, A, 1. First fret, A, 1. So you just really want to practice that. But you want to practice then transition. Again, watch the thumb. After that, it's going to touch for anchor there. Piccato. Okay? So you can use the middle finger, you can use the ring finger, or you could use, you can pivot down just as we did before, lift up, then back onto the first fret. So you can use your index finger in that kind of motion. Okay, this is the hardest one. This is going to take the most practice. So literally just hit pause and you just want to work on triplet, 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 ba-da-dum. Okay, so watch that thumb. Okay, and actually I think that's probably the easiest one to do, is just to pivot that, especially if you're playing at a fast tempo. Right, so it may be the easiest movement, just to and pop back up. So that's the hardest measure in this entire tune, I would say. That's why we're kind of lingering on this section right here. So let's see if we can try it really, really slow. Triplet, 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 triplet. Okay? You also want to practice transition going into the next section because it jumps back to A. And it's going to play that pattern 2 times around. So that pattern is actually really easy. So make the A, and we have 4, first fret of string 3. Then here's where the change happens. Instead of going to the 4th fret, you're going to go to the 2nd fret with the ring finger. Okay, so you have 2, 1, 2 on string 3. Okay, after that you're going to go to 4, lift up, keep that ring finger anchored on 2, lift up, back to 1. So you can see the bass movement just goes 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 1. So get that down first, then the rest of it's easy to add. 4, first fret, 2nd fret, 4th fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, string 4. 1st, 2nd, 4th, 2nd, 1st. Okay? But the hard part is going to be transitioning into that after you play that really difficult measure. So check this out. Now that sounds pretty good, but I've also put a lot of time into practicing it. So trust me, this is the hardest part of the tune. So it's getting that transition down, it's getting that thumb anchored for the piccatos, and it's just, this is going to be the most amount of work that you have to put into it. But let's see if we can recap a little bit of where we're at right now, because we've just learned a lot. So the song basically had an alter or variation on the first part. So if we go back to measure 15, playing that one time through. That was 4 bars. Going into 19, 20. Same A, 21. This is where we start to work on the harder part. Same walk up, 2, 4, 5. Then anchor with the thumb, 3, 5, 1. Okay, and then transition back to A, and we have that new pattern. String 4, first, second, fourth, second, first. And this is actually going to go twice, so you're going to do it again. Okay, so that covers 15 all the way to 26. So let's see if we can try that, you and I. Really slow. Triplet, 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 triplet. Nice. Now, as we look at the next part, so we're coming to this home run stretch of theme 1. So we have new parts, but they're actually really easy to play. So that's a good thing because we've conquered the hardest part, right? So this is going to be a breath of fresh air. It's really, really easy as we finish up this tune. So let me play the next section. So we've got 4 bars that we're going to tackle. And this is 27, 28, 29, 30. Sounds like this. Remember that we finished up with playing out of A, so you want to keep the A chord intact. Okay, so that's a lot, but it's actually really simple. So start with the A chord, right? Because that's where we left off. Add the ring finger to the 3rd fret of string 4. Then lift it up, 2nd fret, then open. So all string 4. So your bass is just going 3, 2, 0. So let's give that a shot. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3. Now at this point, what I would do is I would slide into 5th fret of string 3. So if we look at the next few measures, we have a bass movement of 5, 4, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 0, 3. So you want to just memorize that. So 5, 4, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, 0, 3. So just hit pause or try it with me. Let's try it together. Ready, go. 5, 4, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, open, 3. Okay, so in the context of where we left off, the first measure was. Okay, take that middle. I would slide up. I think that sounds cool. Slide up to 5. And you can see that I lifted the index finger up. We don't need it, so we're just going to be playing open strings. Okay, so slide up. 4, 2, 4, 5, 4, 2, open, 3rd. So infinitely easier than the other part. Let's try those 4 measures together. Start with the A, add that ring finger. Here we go. Slow. Triplet, triplet, triplet. Okay, now here's what's really interesting. Going into the next part, you're going back to 8ths. Okay, so you have 2 bars, just 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, playing out of A. Going into the next couple bars, a variation. So kind of really cool, these last parts. So drop down to D minor. So we have a little triplet, and we're just gonna walk down. 3, 2, 1. So I'm gonna go thumb first, second, and then back to eighths. So it walks up, right? 2, 4, 5, that's the bass. But the first one you have a triplet. 3, 2, 1, eighth notes. Okay? Let's try that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the last part, a bit of a variation again. So 3, 5, 1, same bass movement as we've seen before. So this time around though, you're going to go piccato, and you're gonna walk down though. So it's 3rd fret, 1st fret, open A. And it's a triplet. Back to pinky, that's the bass. Back to eighth, lift up. And then drop down for 1st fret. So that bar, triplet, 2 and 3. So 3rd, 1st, open A, 8th note, 5, pluck 1 and 2, drop down, 1st fret by itself, quarter note. Okay, let's try it. 1, 2, 3, triplet, 2 and 3. Okay, so you may want to practice that because it kind of switches things up a little bit. But if you put those two bars together, you have really, really cool. Let's go slow. 3, 1. Keep doing that. 1, 2, triplet. Okay. So the last 4 measures, this is going to be a part that we added that sets us up for a key change. So to make this easier to play, we bounce between 2 keys for the ukulele, which does not happen in the original composition, but to make it easier to play on the uke, that's how we set it up. So these last 4 bars are, you can consider poetic license. So it sounds like that. It's all quarter notes as well. So it goes from A, so you're just gonna strum A, then play string 3, string 2, then you can do E minor. You can do the stock little staircase, or you can do this one. But again, you're gonna strum 3, 2, and then go to A minor, strum 3, 2, and then if you wanna make it easy, you can just pluck open 1 and 2. If you wanna add a little bit of a a chime sound, you can add that little harmonic. If you're new to these harmonics, by the way, we actually just released a course at the very beginning of January that teaches you how to do them. So I'll put the link right there. I'll put it in the description box below too. It's really, really cool stuff that you can add to make your playing pop. But that's really simple. So let's see if we can try A, E minor, A minor. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, strum 3, 2, strum 3, 2, A minor, strum 3, 2, pluck 1 and 2. And that's going to finish up the tune. So let's do this. Let's see if we can go from 27 all the way to that last measure 38. So remember, this kicks off on pretty much the new part. This I would probably play with a retardando. Okay? But we'll keep it steady for right now. 1, 2, triplet. Slow down. Okay, so I lied. I just naturally went into that retardando into the end. So I definitely would put the retardando in those last 4 measures. But that's everything for theme 1, guys. So let's look at it. I'm going to play the second half. So we're going to skip through the first 14 bars because I would how do you say? I would practice 1 through 14 plus the pickup measure, and then I would practice these last 24 bars. I'd break theme 1 into 2 parts because I think that's going to be a more sizable chunk to chew off, so to speak. So I'm going to go ahead and play through this second half, and that kicked off, I believe, on bar 15. Yeah. So starting from bar 15. And this just gives us a context of everything we learned. So here we go. Okay, so that time, if you remember the first time when I demoed it through, before we learned it, I was playing it really, really steady. That time through, I didn't, I just went with whatever I felt, right? And it pulsated more. So even though I said earlier to keep it steady, I guess, to play whatever comes to you, play whatever you feel, take it and make it your own. So if you want to play it super steady like the first time I demoed it, go for it. If you want it to be more variation like this time, go for it. There is no right or wrong. Music is always up to you, the interpreter of the music. So what's really cool, if you go check out I'll put a link in the description box below to our monthly challenges. We run a monthly challenge every single month. And what's cool is that there's been over 1,400 members that have participated. This is I think we're 34, 35 monthly challenges in, something like that. And you can listen to the same song played by 10 different people, and it sounds different on each version because everybody interprets it differently. And that's what's exciting about music. So just want to throw that out. So guys, that's going to wrap up our part 1 lesson. We're going to be jumping in and learning the second half of this tune over at this link, or you can go to the site rockclass101.com, do a search for Malagueña. Don't forget that you can get the tabs that you can print off as a PDF format. You can access that really cool on-screen tab viewer, so you can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed. Just a great asset to help you get this song down that much easier. All of that is on that page, and I just want to say that I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you in the part 2 one. Take care.